everybody, welcome back to the Turtle and the Tiger.
Oh, new day. Oh, wardrobe. We forgot to change the
Yeah, we
wardrobe.
wear the same things every day. Vlog number 17, it's wardrobe vlog. No, not really.
No, but one day we are going to do a vlog on all our favorite things.
You want to do that next? Just to have a conversation, we'll do that after this one.
No, because you got to show people what your favorite things are.
Oh, so we got to take pictures of all that stuff first.
Right.
I get it. Anyway, so
Back to-
vlog number 17, and as you knew on vlog number 16, if you haven't seen that, you can go back and check that. There's a link down the bottom. And it talks about us at Muleshoe National Wildlife Refuge, just out of Muleshoe, Texas, and how we left, we got there, and then we left.
We left there on a Sunday morning, a little bit late. We should have left a little earlier.
Why was that?
I don't know. I think we just got up late. Maybe we were reading too late at night. But we left a little late. We drove all the way to Plainview to go grocery shopping. Grocery shopping, do some laundry, fuel, what else?
Talking about laundry? You said you didn't want to talk about our laundry. You didn't want to air our laundry.
I'm gonna air dirty laundry, but that'll just be me and you guys. We'll leave him out that day. So we did laundry, we did all of that. So how long did that take us? Probably about 2 hours, 3 hours in town. And then we still had another hour drive to hit Caprock Canyons. But we did have a reservation there. So it didn't matter what time we got there, but still, it's always better to get there before they close at 5 to try to get a good spot.
And one of the things that we always forget to mention, I think we forget to mention, is all along the way we've had a burn ban.
Oh, yeah, we haven't had a fire
We haven't had a fire since probably Boucher State Park
Right, back in January.
back in January
Or
in a
February.
different part of the state. So wherever we've been, there have been two things that have been very common: the lack of water and the inability to have a fire of any kind or a burn ban. And some burn bans are more strict than others. Like some burn bans, so you can have a little charcoal fire if
grill.
it's for food cooking.
Yes.
And then other places, it's like, nothing. So like where we are right now, we're filming at Buffalo Lake National Wildlife Refuge, which is a federal thing, so that could be different. They don't allow any kind of open flame other than propane.
But it's also because they're in a drought. They haven't had any rain here in 5 months. I mean, we had a little bit of rain overnight, one night while we were in Muleshoe.
Yep.
But I'm talking
Very little.
very, very little.
By the time you get up the next morning, you'd probably swear the whole rain thing that night before was just a dream.
It's extremely dry. And as you
No
can
evidence.
tell here,
Yeah.
they did a controlled burn probably
6
this
months,
month.
This month, you think?
Yeah, March,
Probably.
sometime.
Hard
You
to
can
say.
still smell it.
Right.
Okay, but back to Caprock.
So we go into Caprock Canyons, and as the normal course of events, when you come into a state park, you stop off at the main office.
You have to.
You called ahead for a reservation, and what did you reserve? Like how many days?
I reserved 7 nights there.
7 nights. And one of the big things about Caprock Canyons is the gorgeous canyons that they have there. Very colorful, cool formations. And the other cool thing about this park is it's pretty much enclosed in the sense that they have a herd of 130.
Yeah, it's 130 bison, and now they're coming into calving season, so they're having little babies.
So there are a few babies that had already popped out and were walking around with their mums.
Yep.
And doing different things. But you come into the park and you go right up over a cattle guard. If you don't know what a cattle guard is,
Which
and-
I never did.
in lieu of a fence or a gate across the road, if you're going down a road and you come into an area where they're going to keep any livestock, in lieu of having a gate and getting out of the truck and opening the gate and then driving through and closing the gate again, they have these pipes or rails on the surface of the road, which evidently bison and cattle don't like to stick their hooves in, so that keeps them from getting out of whatever enclosed area that they're supposed to be in. And so coming into the park, you occasionally go over a cattle guard.
In other areas.
In other areas as well. So 130 bison just meandering around the park, and
they go where they want to
They
go.
go where they want to go, and
I mean, you'll get to see. We had him come to our camp a couple nights in a row.
yeah, one night especially, it was just about dusk. We had eaten dinner, and I think Yvette said to me, she said, "You're not going to come look at this." And there was a little walkway that went out of our campsite towards the rest area. There's like a shower house, and they just kind of come down. A few came down the walk, a few came through the trees, and they're just eating grass in the back of our campsite. Just not a big deal. You know, you don't screw with them, they won't screw with you. They do say stay up to 50 yards from them, because they can
Right,
get.
you don't know what they'll do.
You don't know what they'll do. You don't want to surround them. You don't want to spook them.
You got to be careful if you're out riding your bike and you come across them, because that could freak them out. We did watch one bull one day get freaked out by a sign, and he was like going after it.
I think the sign
Wiggled.
might have wiggled in the wind, because it was windy there, and it freaked him out, and he just started
freaking out with the
doing
sign.
the buffalo jig. And they don't like to call them buffalo here. They like to call them bison. There are no true buffalo in the United States, so I did learn that.
We do learn a little.
We do, constantly. We also, I did want to get, I forgot to collect the buffalo chips.
We were gonna have a little fire here with some buffalo chips smoking, but
supposedly you
next
can
time.
burn buffalo manure, and it keeps the mosquitoes away, and it smells nice. And I don't know that I'd cook with it.
I don't think I would cook.
Nah,
No,
probably
at
not.
all. Okay, so let's go back to talking about Caprocks.
So we got a nice campsite.
Yep, very nice. We had a little bit of shade there, so
Yep.
that was good, seeing
Yep.
as it was going to be warm.
Yep. So the weather there was pretty weird. One day it was over 100 in the canyon.
It was warm all week.
Yeah. At night sometimes it could get pretty cool, but windy a lot.
Very windy.
We did do quite a bit of hiking, very cool hiking. And one of the things that we discovered is that when you go into a canyon situation where the trails sort of go through the wash, you know, they'll go down into the canyon and they'll cross through a wash and then they'll come back out, etc. It's often pretty cool to just, when you get to a wash, take the wash.
And we could do that because they haven't had any rain.
They haven't had any rain. It's a very dangerous situation to be in if there's rain in the forecast, because you can get caught, and flash floods can really, I mean, can kill you with, you know, they come pretty quick. But we knew there wasn't any rain in the forecast, nor had there been any rain.
So we figured we'd be adventurous.
We'd be adventurous, and we got to discover a lot of cool things down there that we normally wouldn't have seen. Rock formations. We went through one
Swallow
rock.
nests.
Yeah, swallow nests were very cool. We got to see those in a couple of different areas. Giant colonies of orb-like, globular-like nests.
Mud nests on
Mud
the wall.
nests stuck against the side wall of some of this sandstone-like cliffs. Lots of gypsum veins you could see running through the rock. That was pretty cool. I don't know. There were just lots of things to look at. You could see lots of tracks. You could see where the bison had been down there, deer, coyotes.
The coyotes howling at night in the canyons was just
At dusk,
awesome.
even in the middle of the night, you could hear them in different parts of the park howling away. I don't think they sound the same back in the Amherst area.
Well, I don't think we had as many either. So you didn't have these big packs that you could hear howling.
But I don't think you got the typical, what everybody associates a coyote howl. You know, that business is much back there. It's more a lot of squealing and yipping and barking.
Yeah.
Where here you get a little barking, but you get a lot of howling as well.
It's very cool.
So it was very cool to hear that at night.
Lots of coyotes scat through the washes.
Yep.
It was
Near the campsite was pretty cool too. You could walk from our campsite to the shower house, and on the other side of the shower house they had a giant prairie dog town. Very active.
lots of
Prairie dogs would be out in the road, all over the place.
Yeah, more prairie dogs than I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, I've never
Yeah,
seen prairie
yeah.
dogs up to this point, so
Yeah.
one would be more than I'd ever seen.
That's true.
So
A lot of them.
lot of prairie dogs. We met some very interesting people on this trip. Right off the bat, and I know this is going to sound a little, I don't know, whatever, but
It's us.
It's just us. So when we got there during the week, there was 2 fifth wheels parked across the street from the two of us. And one of the guys came over. One of them, Bob Groves, watches this video. I swear, Bob, your twin is out there.
It was your brother, because that's what I said.
And we named him Bob.
Right.
But he had a brother, so other fifth wheel was right next to him, whose name was Gerald.
Yep.
And how I wish I had gotten his last name, but I do know they live near Dallas, don't they? Somewhere. Anyway,
Yes.
he
Nice.
walked across the street the very first day we were there. And I swear, just looking at him, I'm like, that guy, I don't know, there was just something about him. Before he even opened his mouth, I just knew he was a man of the cloth. I don't know what it was. I don't like to believe in a lot of this stuff sometimes, but I just had that. I just looked at him and I'm like, this guy looks just like or feels like he's a man of the cloth. Anyway, he came over and he introduced himself and he just said, I just figured it's my obligation as a neighbor to come over and introduce myself, and talked a little bit that day. And then another day he rode in
Cowboy hat and on his bike.
bicycle, and I said to him, I said, Gerald, I said, that hat looks real good on you. He said, and he began to tell me some of his life story, how that in fact, in part of his life, he was a cowboy, and did the cowpoke thing.
Well, he had a cattle ranch.
And he also was a minister.
Yep.
And I just freaked out when he said that, and I don't know that I said anything to him.
You didn't.
So that was kind of strange, but I gotta get off the track a little bit.
Why?
So I have to apologize to you. So fast forward a minute, and because I'm not very religious, but sometimes these things are just quirky. A few days later, we decide we're going to go because of some negative stuff that happened in the campsite. One of the things was I wanted on Saturday to go to this barbecue place out in town, which the town's name is Quitaque, Texas.
Right.
And it isn't spelled anything like it sounds. Because there was this little barbecue place right on the corner, right in the center of town, which is not a big town.
At all.
So
nice stack of wood out there,
yep.
Smoker, so it looks like it'd be a great place to go.
I was like, sweet. So out we go Saturday, and sure enough, place is closed indefinitely by the looks of it. So where to get barbecue? Well, the closest place to get barbecue is Childress, Texas. So off to Childress, Texas we went.
Which is what, 40-somewhat miles away?
At least.
Yeah, we're like
all of that.
Road trip.
So, but down in Texas, you can go 40 miles in 30 minutes. Because the roads are so great. It's 75 miles an hour, so it's not like it takes a lot of time to get there.
Yeah, 40 miles, you might pass a dozen cars. So
we didn't have the trailer on the back, so hauling, we go to Childress, find this place called Top Notch Barbecue in Childress, Texas. And if you are ever in Childress, Texas, you got to go to Top Notch Barbecue. Nice people, great barbecue.
We even got something to take back and have the next day for lunch. We
did. But while we were in there, we're sitting at the table. I don't know why I get emotional about this, but we're sitting at the table and we're done with dinner. Yvette gets up to go to the bathroom, and this couple sitting at a table next to us, and she's looking at me, and she's looking at her phone, she's looking at me, she's looking at her husband, she's looking at me, and she goes, "You have a twin." And I said, "I do." She says, "Yep, you absolutely," and the husband is like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm." And I said, "I do." I said, "Well, I'm sorry to say that there's somebody as ugly as I am."
Oh, God.
So I did say. So she says, "Yes, absolutely." She's got her phone. She said, "Come look." And she holds up her phone, and I go over, and there was this guy that looked like he could be my twin. And she said he was a minister in town. Said he talked like me, wore his glasses like I wear my glasses, the hair, the beard, and everything. So I was like, in 2 days, we get this one guy that I kind of feel like, I don't know. You can make of it whatever you want. I don't know. It was quirky to me. All right, so that's the end of that sidebar story. So anyway, we shuffled back to camp. So great hiking. The bison were cool. Prairie dogs were cool.
We met some really nice people too.
Yeah, and then so there was Gerald.
Yep, Gerald and his brother across the street.
Yep.
Really nice. Then we met Claire from next door.
Yep. Claire was, and I'm going to put, because she's such a cool person.
She's a mom.
She's a mom.
From California.
Right.
She had 3 kids with her. Her
Yep.
husband's back in California working. And they're all deaf. And she's full-timing with these 3 kids. She's gone across the country. She had just gotten back into Texas. I think she's only been doing it for the last 6 months, but she loves it.
Yep. Here she's got this 38-footer
Right,
with
by
a
herself, she's doing it all.
towing a car.
Yeah, she's got a little toad.
Yep.
Got to give her a lot of credit.
And everybody's signing to each other. The kids are all there.
Because it's all hereditary,
Yep.
them being deaf.
Yep. They were all. It was genetic.
Yep.
But just super person. She came over and introduced herself because her little boy wanted to see the turtle trailer.
So he was shy, so he didn't want to come ask.
Right. So we saw him. Then we had sort of an issue in camp with some noisy neighbors that we won't get into, but if you want to check out the blog post on that, I'll put that link in there too.
Yeah, because we're not going to rehash that.
No, I'm not going to rehash that because I'm not going to give that guy any more time of day than he deserves.
Yeah.
However, in the process, the positive end, we found out that there was another neighbor that went through the process of trying to complain about him as well. I introduced myself to him, and who in turn we talked to again the next day, got to know his wife, got to know their thing, and I think his name was Ron, but her name was Sue.
Yep, both from Albuquerque, so we got to
talk to them a little bit about that. That was very cool. And then Yvette ran into, as she sometimes does.
Right, I go to the ladies' room and I don't come back for an hour because I find somebody and we start chatting.
Yep, and her name was Ricole.
Yes, Ricole and her husband came down to our camp afterwards, and we hung out with them for a little bit. They're from Fredericksburg, yes.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
This is kind of weird because, you know what it is.
Yes, I know exactly.
And we can't talk about it yet.
Yeah. So
we'll talk about it in the next video, which is we just discovered it too, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so that was
the people that you meet.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'll be the same way when we're in Colorado.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be there for the summer. Maybe we run into the same thing there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems like in Texas, you just.
Yeah.
And Texas is huge. It's not like it's a small state.
Right.
I mean, it probably takes up all of New England.
Right. But
so
I think
it's funny when you run into people that it just turns into a small world.
Right. And one of the regrets I have about Caprock Canyons that I also will have about another state park that we're going to talk about at some point is the amount of horse activity that's here. I wish that there was somehow we could have gotten on a horse at Caprock Canyons, because I think some of those trails would have been pretty cool. But not the first state park, and certainly not the last state park that we'll see that has a big equestrian section for those that want to trailer in their horses and camp. So like, I know Carol Hepburn and her sister would freaking love this place because of all the horse activity or horse possibilities, equestrian possibilities there. So that was one regret, that I haven't gotten up on a horse yet, and I'd like to do that.
Well, at some point.
At some point.
The adventure's young.
Right, it's young. So we did, even though we had some heat and we had some wind, we did get out to hike. Not quite as many times as we had hoped, but
I think we went out 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times, deep into the canyon, different trails.
Yep.
Took some great photos, but colorful landscape, beautifully sculpted mountains.
Yeah, really pretty, really pretty.
Yeah, and then there was one day, and gosh, I hope I got this on camera, on the dash cam. One day we went off of the reservation,
Right.
went out of the state park, and I wanted to look for a road or a trail that was actually on the other side of a road at the back side of the state park to see maybe if we could drive to it, park, and then walk. So it was just more of a reconnaissance trip than anything else. But when we got back there, we decided to keep going on the road, and really got into some really rough road with Mr. Bandit, and he did very well. Had to do the
fun.
4-wheel drive thing a couple
That's
of times.
when we saw the frogs, and when I realized I lost my binoculars
Oh, I
the
didn't
day
know you
before.
wanted to talk about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a bummer.
Yeah.
The day before, we were out hiking in the canyon. Hot day. Stopped at a pit toilet. I hung up my backpack, my binoculars, and I think I left them there.
Yep.
So I never got to really look at the
Frogs.
that day when
Yeah.
we saw them.
Yeah, and as
I
I'll
was
show the
bummed.
pictures of the frogs on here that I did take, I went back to the pond where we parked next to the road, saw this only pond I'd ever seen, and the frogs were all over it.
Huge frogs.
By the time I had gotten back to the truck, she was pretty upset,
Yeah.
and pretty much tore the truck apart looking for them. We realized that they just weren't there.
Because really, seriously, there aren't that many places you can lose your
Stuff in the tire.
into the tire. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
that was a bummer.
it was one of those things where it was like Yvette said, we were at the end of a long hike. It was hot. We probably were just getting to be dehydrated, tired, and that's when you do things that you don't normally do. And as soon as you get out of a routine and doing something, that's when things happen.
Yep.
So
And that I didn't realize till the next day was a bummer.
Right.
'Cause
So
we
the
did
more
hike back down to find them the next
we did
day.
try to we hustled back into the canyon the next day, and they were gone. So somebody's out there with a nice pair of binoculars, and God bless them. Hopefully
Appreciate them.
they'll appreciate them. But at any rate, then how many days did we spend there? About
We got there on a Sunday. We
Yep.
left on a Monday.
Sunday, got there on a Monday.
7 nights.
Right. And then at that point, did we load up with water there? Pretty
Yes.
sure we did.
Yes, we
Yeah.
completely loaded up because we knew we were going to Palo Duro.
Palo Canyons is also in Texas.
Right. But we knew we needed to have full water between there and our next
Set
house
of
sit,
yep,
really.
in Colorado. So we're going to talk about it a little bit more on the next video.
Right. I mean,
So
that's 2 weeks. So that
right.
would have been 2 weeks.
So we
away.
put 40 gallons in the trailer and 30 gallons in the truck. And pretty much what day did we leave? Do you remember? You're good at this. Was it a Friday?
We leave where?
Caprock.
We left on a Monday.
Monday, you're right. Left on a Monday and headed to Palo Duro, which is in Canyon, Texas.
Yes.
And on our next video, which is going to be vlog number 18.
We'll talk about Palo Duro and we'll talk about us here at Buffalo Lake.
Yes. So,
Until then.
bye.